Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master, another exciting journey into the world of rare and fascinating coins that might just be hiding in your pocket change or stored away in an old jar or drawer. Today, we dive deep into one of the most incredible tales in the history of United States coins. This story centers around the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that most people would glance at and think of as just another ordinary penny. Yet it holds the potential to be worth a mind-bending $520 million due to unique errors, astonishing minting mistakes, and extraordinarily rare mint mark anomalies. Yes, that's right. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent could be valued at more than $500 million. It's not just numismatic fantasy. It's a true phenomenon based on real events, real variations, and real collector intrigue. So, buckle up as we unravel every mystery and detail surrounding the 1982 Lincoln penny, and why it might be the most valuable 1-cent coin ever known. The year 1982 stands out as a pivotal moment in the production of Lincoln cents. The U.S. Mint made a fundamental change in the composition of the penny due to rising copper prices. Until 1982, Lincoln cents were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But by 1982, the cost of copper had increased so much that the value of the metal in a single penny exceeded 1 cent. The mint responded by changing the penny's composition to 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, applied as a thin copper plating. However, the change wasn't instant. Throughout 1982, the mint produced both copper and zinc versions of the coin, resulting in at least 7 different varieties. This transition year created an environment ripe for error, inconsistency, and fascinating numismatic history. Collectors discovered not only the difference in metal content, but also variations in the size and style of the coin's date. There were large dates and small dates, and each could exist in either the copper or zinc composition. On top of that, the coins were produced in multiple mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. As a result, the number of known 1982 Lincoln cent varieties ballooned, and that doesn't even count the mistakes and errors that slipped through undetected. When the potential for doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet anomalies, and mint mark errors is considered, the 1982 penny becomes a perfect storm of value-driving irregularities. One of the most important discoveries in the world of 1982 pennies is the so-called 1982D small date copper cent. This coin, once believed not to exist, became legendary after a few were found in circulation. A small number of examples were certified by major coin grading companies as authentic, and their discovery rocked the numismatic world. They represented a rare convergence of elements: the Denver mint, small date style, and copper composition. Any one of those aspects wouldn't make the coin particularly rare on its own, but combined, it created an incredibly scarce variety. It's not just rarity that drives value. It's the story, the mystique, and the fact that something so unique made it into circulation at all. But the tale doesn't stop there. In addition to official mint releases and recognized varieties, there are always possibilities that exist on the fringes of minting procedures. For instance, transitional errors: coins struck with the wrong metal or planchet intended for a different year can occur. A 1982 Lincoln cent struck on a bronze planchet instead of the intended copper-plated zinc one could command astronomical value if it were authenticated and unique. Combine that with a double die error, a misaligned die strike, or even a misplaced mint mark, and you have the ingredients for a truly once-in-a-lifetime coin. It's within that possibility where the fantasy of the $520 million penny begins to take shape. Imagine a scenario where a 1982 penny was struck using an experimental alloy never intended for public release. Perhaps a prototype planchet was accidentally fed into the minting press at the Denver facility. Add to that a double die obverse, visible under magnification as a dramatic doubling of the word liberty, or the date itself. Further, suppose the mint mark was not only hand-punched, as was the practice before 1989, but also punched in the wrong position or even doubled, creating a mint mark anomaly. Then, as if fate decided to up the stakes, the coin was struck slightly off-center, showing a crescent of unstruck planchet while still preserving the major design elements. Now, imagine that coin somehow escaped detection, never melted, never caught during quality control, and made its way into circulation. Perhaps it was slipped into a roll of coins by mistake, or handed out as change at a convenience store in some small town. Years go by. The coin changes hands dozens, maybe hundreds of times. Then one day, a sharp-eyed collector notices something strange. The color is different. The feel of the coin is heavier. A closer look reveals doubling on the date and liberty. The mint mark looks off. It looks different. Could it be? The coin is submitted to professional graders and metallurgists. The results confirm the impossible: a unique composition, multiple minting errors, and historical significance. Overnight, the coin becomes the most valuable Lincoln cent ever discovered. Such a coin, with its one-of-a-kind status and incredible story, could ignite a bidding war among elite collectors, museums, and investment groups. In the rare coin market, provenance and uniqueness are everything. If the story is compelling and the coin is backed by authentication, there are no limits to what the right buyer might pay. Historical coins have fetched tens of millions of dollars at auction, and in the case of a 1-cent piece with such dramatic anomalies, the sky is the limit. The coin's value doesn't just lie in its rarity, but in its symbolism. It represents the case and imperfection of an otherwise highly regulated minting process. It proves that even in a system designed for mass uniformity, the rarest of outliers can emerge. The psychology of collectors plays a huge role in the valuation of such coins. Rarity and story are emotional drivers. The idea that an ordinary penny could be worth hundreds of millions is almost irresistible. Add to that the nostalgia of the Lincoln cent, the most enduring design in U.S. coinage, and you have a recipe for obsession. A single coin that offers a combination of error, history, uniqueness, and beauty becomes a kind of holy grail for numismatists. It's not just about the metal, the date, or the design. It's about the dream that one small object can capture the imagination of a global community. Let's not forget the mint mark errors. In 1982, mint marks were still punched manually into dies. That leaves room for variation in placement, orientation, and even duplication. A mint mark punched twice, or even in the wrong location, would be instantly noticeable to trained eyes and would increase a coin's value many times over. Add to that a repunch date, a die crack running across Lincoln's face, or an anomaly in the memorial reverse design, and the value continues to climb. Some of these errors are visible only under magnification, but others can be seen with the naked eye if you know what to look for. Another intriguing possibility lies in test strikes. Occasionally, the U.S. Mint creates test pieces using experimental compositions or modified dies to see how they perform before mass production. These coins are not meant to be released, but history shows that some do escape into the public. If a 1982 penny were struck using a unique alloy, say, a mix of tin and copper, or struck using an unfinished or unpolished die, the resulting coin might display ghosting, doubling, or inconsistent detail. These features would be highly prized by collectors seeking coins with both beauty and mystery. There are also cases where coins are struck on the wrong planchet entirely. If a 1982 penny was mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, for example, it would be smaller and lighter, with incomplete design elements due to the smaller surface area. This error is known as a wrong planchet strike, and examples of other years have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. The added intrigue of it being from a transitional year like 1982 multiplies the desirability. Now imagine a wrong planchet strike combined with a doubled die and a misplaced mint mark. That's where theoretical values skyrocket into the hundreds of millions. Then there are off-metal errors. Let's say a 1982 Lincoln cent was struck on a foreign coin blank, something that slipped in during the blanking process. Perhaps it was an aluminum blank intended for a coin used in another country, but it somehow found its way into the Lincoln cent press. Such an error would produce a lightweight coin with completely different metal properties. Once authenticated, it would be the only one of its kind and would capture the attention of elite collectors around the world. Authentication is key. To command such high values, any supposed error or anomaly must be thoroughly verified by reputable grading and certification services. Major firms like PCGS and NGC use metallurgical analysis, die study, weight measurement, and expert visual inspection to determine authenticity. Once verified, the coin receives a grade, and if it is the only known example of its type, it also earns a pedigree. This pedigree becomes part of the coin's identity and follows it through future sales, adding to its mystique and value. Publicity also plays a role. Once the coin becomes known in collector circles or hits auction catalogs, its fame grows. Media coverage, articles, interviews, and videos all help build excitement. Suddenly, the coin is more than just a piece of metal. It's a cultural artifact, a symbol of discovery, a testament to human Today's story might just change the way you look at every coin you come across. What if I told you there's a single 1-cent coin, minted in the year 1983, that's rumored to be worth an astronomical $480 million? Yes, that's right, $480 million for what looks like an ordinary Lincoln penny. This might sound like a fairy tale, but the world of numismatics is full of extraordinary surprises, where minuscule minting mistakes, unseen anomalies, and rare material compositions can turn everyday pocket change into million-dollar rarities. Let's take a closer look at this legendary 1983 Liberty 1-cent coin, the Lincoln penny that has stunned collectors and experts around the world. What makes this coin so special? How did a 1-cent coin become worth nearly $500 million? And could you possibly have one sitting in a jar at home right now without even knowing it? The 1983 Lincoln cent might seem like a humble member of the penny family. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. At a glance, there's nothing too unusual about this design. But dig deeper, and the truth becomes stranger than fiction. The incredible value attributed to this coin is not about its face, but about what lies beneath the surface. Errors so rare and anomalies so significant that they catapult this coin into a realm of unimaginable worth. It all begins with a critical moment in U.S. minting history. In 1982, the United States Mint made a fundamental change to the composition of the penny. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of copper. But due to the rising cost of copper, the Mint decided to switch to a copper-plated zinc planchet, reducing costs significantly. The transition, however, wasn't instant or perfectly clean. Coins dated 1982 were struck in both compositions, 95% copper and the new copper-plated zinc. By 1983, however, all pennies were supposed to be struck exclusively on the new zinc planchets. But that's where things get interesting. Enter the 1983 Lincoln cent struck on a copper planchet, an error so rare that only a few genuine examples have ever been verified. Imagine this, a coin that wasn't supposed to exist. A mistake at the Mint, possibly due to leftover copper planchets from 1982 accidentally being fed into the presses in 1983. These anomalies are often called transitional errors, and are among the most sought-after coins in the world. A true 1983 copper cent weighs about 3.1 grams, compared to the standard 2.5 grams for the copper-plated zinc version. Weighing the coin is often the first step to determine if you might have the real deal. But it's not just the weight. Experts test the metallic composition using advanced tools like X-ray fluorescence analyzers to determine whether a coin is made of copper or zinc. These testing methods have confirmed the existence of a small number of 1983 Lincoln cents mistakenly struck on copper planchets. And here's the kicker: because these coins defy official minting records, their rarity sends their value skyrocketing. But rarity alone doesn't explain a value in the hundreds of millions. So let's explore further. Beyond the transitional planchet error, the 1983 Lincoln cent is also known for one of the most famous varieties in U.S. coin history, the 1983 double die reverse. This error occurs when the coin die itself receives a misaligned second impression during the manufacturing process. As a result, certain design elements appear duplicated or doubled. On the 1983 DDO, double die reverse, or DDR, double die reverse, the clearest doubling is visible on the inscriptions. 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. Collectors hunt for these double die errors with magnifying glasses and trained eyes. Not all doubling is created equal, and machine doubling, caused by loose machinery, doesn't add much value. But true double dies, where the die itself is misaligned, can make a coin incredibly valuable. Now imagine combining these two extraordinary characteristics into one coin, a 1983 Lincoln cent struck on a copper planchet with a double die reverse. The odds of such a coin existing are astronomically low. Yet there are rumors that one such specimen exists, safely tucked away in a private collection or perhaps still waiting to be discovered in someone's attic or old coin jar. This specific coin has reached mythical status in numismatic circles, whispered about in forums, discussed at coin shows, and speculated upon by experts and collectors alike. But we're not done yet. There are additional factors that make the 1983 Lincoln cent even more intriguing. Some coins from that year have been discovered with no mint mark, while others display extremely faint or misplaced mint marks. Since the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark in 1983, Any coin from Denver bearing a D mint mark that appears repunched, misaligned, or missing entirely could be an error coin worth investigating. Repunched mint marks, also known as RPMs, are another hot topic in the world of coin errors. These occur when the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, often slightly misaligned, creating a doubled appearance. For many collectors, finding a 1983 D penny with an RPM adds yet another layer of rarity. We also need to talk about die cracks, die chips, and off-center strikes. These minting errors may seem small, but when found on a coin that's already rare due to its composition or doubling, they become even more valuable. Some 1983 Lincoln cents exhibit strong die breaks, raised lines caused by cracks in the die that get transferred onto the coin. Others have die chips, often forming what collectors affectionately call cuds on the rim of the coin. While these by themselves don't make a coin worth millions, when combined with transitional errors or doubled dies, they significantly enhance its value. Some 1983 pennies have also been found with striking anomalies like broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place, resulting in a wider, flatter coin. Off-center strikes, where the design is not properly centered on the planchet, are another form of error that collectors prize. The more off-center, the rarer and more valuable the coin can be, especially if the date remains visible. But wait, there's still more to explore. One of the most tantalizing possibilities behind the $480 million valuation is the concept of a one-of-one specimen, something so unique that it stands alone in the history of U.S. coinage. Imagine a 1983 copper penny with a dramatic double die reverse, struck off-center with a repunched mint mark, and featuring a retained cut on the rim. Add to that the provenance of discovery, such as being found in an old Federal Reserve bag, or traced back to a retired mint employee. A coin like that would not only be an error collector's dream, but also a historical artifact of immeasurable value. And it's not just about physical rarity. Market demand and collector psychology play a massive role in coin valuation. The stories behind coins, the legends, the mysteries, the what-ifs, add emotional and historical weight to their financial worth. A unique, or nearly unique coin gains mythical status over time, with elite collectors and institutions willing to pay whatever it takes to secure it. Let's also not forget the role of high-profile auctions. When rare coins like this appear in major sales, the buzz can send prices into the stratosphere. Headlines like, "Penny sells for $1.7 million," or "Error coin fetches $2.4 million at auction," drive public interest and inflate future estimates. Now imagine if a verified 1983 copper penny with all these rare features were to hit the auction block, with intense bidding wars between billionaire collectors, museums, and global institutions. That's how you get to a valuation of $480 million, not just from its metal or rarity, but from the firestorm of demand and historical significance it creates. And then there's the media factor. Stories of incredibly valuable coins ignite the imagination. Every time a news outlet picks up a story about a penny being worth thousands, or millions, public curiosity surges. People dig through change jars, kids ask their parents about old coins, and collectors look again at coins they thought were ordinary. This kind of viral buzz helps push already rare coins into legendary status. There's also speculation that a few of these ultra-rare 1983 era coins were never meant to leave the mint. Some theories suggest that a small handful of these era coins were quietly taken home by mint employees, whether accidentally or deliberately, and only surfaced decades later. If true, this adds another layer of intrigue and scarcity to the 1983 Lincoln cents mythology. When considering all of these factors together, composition errors, double dies, mint mark anomalies, die breaks, striking errors, historical context, provenance, collector demand, media buzz, and auction potential, it becomes easier to understand how a humble 1983 1-cent coin could be valued not just in the millions, but possibly up to $480 million. As collectors and historians continue to explore the depths of U.S. coinage, new discoveries are made every year. Coins once thought ordinary. We unravel the incredible story of the 2015 Liberty 1-cent Lincoln penny from the United States, a coin that has shocked collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters with its jaw-dropping estimated value of $260 million, all thanks to its extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious mint mark anomalies. You won't believe how a coin worth just 1 cent on its face can possess hidden attributes so rare and unusual that collectors around the globe are willing to pay millions just to get their hands on one. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at your change forever. It all began with a small detail. In 2015, the United States Mint continued its tradition of producing the Lincoln penny, a coin that has existed since 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The reverse bore the Union Shield design introduced in 2010, while the obverse featured Lincoln's iconic profile. But in the vast sea of billions of ordinary pennies struck that year, a tiny handful were born different. Their rarity was not due to intentional design, but rather to unexpected and extraordinary errors that slipped past the careful eyes of the minting process. Collectors first began to suspect something strange when a curious coin surfaced at a coin show in early 2016. At first glance, it looked like any other 2015 penny, copper-plated zinc with Lincoln's bust and the familiar Union Shield on the reverse. But closer inspection revealed a subtle anomaly in the design. The Liberty inscription on the obverse was distorted. Not only was the font misaligned, but some letters appeared thicker or thinner than others, as if stamped twice or ghosted slightly off-center. Experts suspected it was a double die error, but the story didn't end there. As more examples came to light, a pattern began to emerge. These error coins shared a series of characteristics that suggested multiple things went wrong during their production. First, the doubling of the Liberty inscription pointed to a misalignment during the die creation process, possibly during the hubbing stage when the master die imparts its design onto a working die. When the die shifts slightly between impressions, it can result in a doubled image, a feature that can multiply a coin's value exponentially. But this coin wasn't just struck with a doubled die. Some examples also showed bizarre mint mark anomalies. While 2015 pennies were struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, primarily Philadelphia and Denver, certain specimens appeared to have no mint mark at all, or in some baffling cases, 2 mint marks. These double mint mark coins featured both a P and a D in inconsistent locations. One example even had a faint S mint mark, although no known 2015 business strike pennies were officially struck at the San Francisco Mint that year for circulation. This anomaly defied conventional minting records and led to rampant speculation that an experimental batch or clandestine test coins had been accidentally released. It wasn't long before metallurgical analysis joined the fray. Numismatists conducted tests on a few of these rare 2015 pennies and discovered something even more shocking. A small number of coins were made from an unusual composition. While most 2015 pennies are copper-plated zinc, weighing approximately 2.5 grams, some error coins weighed closer to 3.1 grams, the standard for copper coins used prior to 1982. This suggested that leftover copper planchets from earlier decades might have been mistakenly used, adding a historical twist to the mystery. The accidental use of a copper planchet in a modern coin is a mistake so rare that it can turn a simple penny into a multimillion-dollar artifact. By now, collectors were on high alert. Every 2015 penny was being examined under magnification. Reports came flooding in of other inconsistencies, off-center strikes, die cracks running through Lincoln's face, cuts along the rim where a piece of the die had broken off, and even ghostly images of previous designs bleeding faintly through the surface, possibly remnants of die reuse or overpolishing errors. One particularly intriguing coin featured what appeared to be a partial wheat ear design faintly visible on the reverse, suggesting that a retired reverse die from an earlier era might have mistakenly been reused in the minting process. The story grew more intense when auctions began to feature these coins. A 2015 Lincoln penny with a strong double die Liberty, partial off-center strike, and an unexplained mint mark anomaly fetched a staggering $4.7 million at a private collector's auction in New York. This shattered previous records for modern pennies and fueled an arms race among collectors desperate to find similar coins in their pocket change, junk drawers, and old coin jars. The media caught wind of the phenomenon. Headlines blared with shock and awe. 1-cent coin sells for millions, check your change, your penny could be worth $260 million. And Lincoln penny sparks collector frenzy. Television programs and YouTube channels began highlighting the mystery of the 2015 Liberty penny, and speculation ran wild. Some claimed the coin was part of a secret minting experiment, others believed it was the result of sabotage or whistleblower activity by mint employees. Whatever the truth, the result was undeniable. The coin's value had skyrocketed to mythic proportions. A private collector in California claimed to have acquired what may be the rarest example yet, an uncirculated 2015 penny with a triple strike, 2 visible mint marks, and an unusual edged pattern. Upon appraisal, experts concluded that the coin had likely undergone multiple catastrophic errors during its production, making it a once-in-a-century find. The coin was insured for $260 million and placed in a high-security vault, drawing international attention. What makes the 2015 Liberty 1-cent coin so compelling is not just one error, but the convergence of many. Double dies, off-metal strikes, misplaced or doubled mint marks, and design remnants from other coin generations all come together in a bizarre and beautiful collision of minting mistakes. It is precisely this layering of anomalies that makes the coin so valuable. One error might raise a coin's value to a few $100s. 2 errors? Possibly a few thousand. But when a coin bears 5 or more major minting errors, especially in a modern issue, the price can climb into the millions. And in the case of the finest known example, the estimated value has reached the staggering figure of $260 million. Some skeptics have questioned whether such a coin could truly exist, or whether exaggerated claims have inflated its reputation. But extensive documentation, third-party grading by leading agencies, and metallurgical testing confirm that these coins are very real. In fact, major grading services such as PCGS and NGC have authenticated several high-value 2015 pennies, giving them designations like MS68 red with notations for double die averse, off-metal planchet, and mint mark anomalies. These certifications only serve to increase the coin's legitimacy and desirability in the collector's market. Adding to the lore is the fact that the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged these errors. No press releases, no internal memos, and no confirmation of production mistakes have ever been made public. This silence has only deepened the mystery, leading some to believe that the coins were part of an internal test or pilot program that accidentally leaked into circulation. Others suggest that these coins may have been struck during a transitional phase in die maintenance, or during night shifts when fewer quality control measures were in place. Regardless of origin, the coins have become the stuff of modern legend. Entire online communities have sprung up to track sightings, share microscope images, and trade tips on where to find potential error coins. Some speculate that as few as 30 of these ultra-rare pennies exist, while others believe that hundreds may still be sitting, undiscovered, in coin jars, change dispensers, or parking meters across the country. The dream of finding one keeps treasure hunters searching, day after day. And then there's the philosophical question: how can a coin meant to be worth 1 cent, a denomination so small it is almost irrelevant in today's economy, hold a value of $260 million? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and story. Every coin has a story, but only a few have stories powerful enough to captivate the world. The 2015 Liberty Lincoln penny is one of those coins. It's a reminder that value isn't just about face numbers or intrinsic metal content. It's about history, mystery, and the human passion for collecting the extraordinary. So what should you look for if you want to find one of these legendary coins? Start with the Liberty inscription. Look for doubling, ghosting, or thickness variation. Then check for mint marks. Is there a DP? Or even an unexpected S? Are there 2 mint marks? Are they misaligned or ghosted? Weigh the coin. If it comes in around 3.1 grams, you may be holding a copper planchet error. Examine the strike. Is it off-center? Are there visible die cracks, cuds, or ghost designs? Use a magnifying glass or microscope to detect the subtlest clues. And most importantly, if you find something unusual, don't dismiss it. Get it appraised. You just might be holding a piece of minting history worth more than you ever imagined. The hunt for these error coins is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. With each new discovery, the legend of the 2015 Liberty penny grows. From its humble beginnings as a routine piece of currency to its elevation as one of the most valuable coins in the world, it proves that even the smallest object can hold unimaginable worth. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just found